Welcome to part 2 of how to read music on your cello. Let's begin with some review. The symbol that you see in the top left is the what? The bass clef, the clef of fa. The chiffres, or the time signatures, are numbers that exist above and below each other. The 3 represents how many pulses are in each measure, and the bottom number represents what quality of note equals the pulse, or beat. So we have 3 pulses per the measure, and the quarter note equals that. The lines are equal to the open strings. So the top line, the highest line, is equal to the top highest string. The middle line, the re, the D, and the bottom line, sol, or the G. That is all you must remember. Super symmetrical and super easy. Notes can occur on lines and spaces. They can be connected if they're eighth notes, or they can be separate. They can have stems that go up and down. They have different names. They have, for instance, if it's round, the hond, it is a whole note. Then you have the half note, that's 2 equals 1. Then you have the quarter note and the eighth note, always dividing the first one after the next one. Super easy and super simple. So let's get right into playing some music. On the bottom of this sheet, we're going to play some open strings. I will play the first round, the very first line, and then you will copy along with me. It's important to remember, we have time. So I have my foot tapping here, and that's the time. 1, 2, 3, listen. Notice that the very last measure had 2 half notes, and that equaled 2 taps. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Measure number 2. Line number 2. Here we go. I will demonstrate for you, and then you will copy along second time. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, let's go. Very good. Now let's do the third line. I will demonstrate, and then you do the second time with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now, if any of that seemed a bit quick for you, you can actually slow down these videos if you're using your computer to watch it. So go into the little gear that's in the bottom of your screen there. Every time you can choose the size of the screen, and you can slow this video down for that one section and make it more appropriate if you need it a little bit more slowly. Thank you for watching that. And we're going to go right into the definition of what is the silence? We've talked about sound, now let's talk about the silence. The symbols that represent sound are notes, and the symbols that represent silence are rests. And I've demonstrated for you at the top of this what the most common rests are called and look like. You have at the top, just like notes, a whole rest, a half rest, a quarter rest, and an eighth rest, every time dividing into 2. And if you care, the French definitions are on the side there. Unlike measures that have notes in them, measures that have rests in them will always display the rest in the same place, right in the middle. And as you see in the second example, we have notes on 2 different lines, which is the D and the A, but the rests remain always in the same. Just a little detail. Let's move on to les armures, which is the key signatures. Now, key signatures are those symbols, those hashtags or flat little B's that you see right next to your bass clef. And those symbols are going to tell you what modifications are going to happen to those notes. You have the C major, the G major, and D major, most common ones that you'll play on cello. And if you ever play the piano, the C major are all the white keys, and you can call those all the natural keys. In other words, notes that don't have any modifications or changes to them. And every time that you add a sharp, add a hashtag, that modifies one note, not just in one place, but everywhere along the spectrum of everywhere you can play the note. And so in C major, you have nothing, so it's always going to be empty. That's what it looks like. In G major, you have one sharp, which is the F sharp. And then in D major, you have two sharps, which is the F sharp, always repeated, and then the C sharp. Let's go on to the fingerings, because you're going to be looking at symbols. The brain's going to be seeing all these symbols, but in all essence, it's going to send signals down in numbers to the hand. You will see symbols, you will read notes. Regardless of what language you speak, you will always tell the hand numbers, 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 numbers. For instance, this is a simple 1-octave scale in G major. Zeros always represent no fingers. 1 represents the first finger, 3 represents the third finger, and 4 represents the fourth finger. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Let's go on to these modifications to the notes, which are called accidentals in American English. The first we have, the sharp, is going to be taking any note that's natural and making it a half interval higher. And so it exists on the same line, but you put that little hashtag next to it, and then it changes it a half interval. On the keyboard, it's literally that key right next to it. On the flat, it's the same thing. You'll play a B, natural, and then you will lower it, flat it, like taking air out of a tire. It's that simple. And the natural, well, it returns everything back to equilibrium. So if it's a sharp, it returns that back to its natural form. If it's a flat, the natural changes that flat back to its original form. And that's all you need to really know about how to play music on the cello for this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for video number 3.